Hello, fourth grade. This is your Thursday math lesson, lesson 1.4, round numbers. So we are working on a skill called rounding numbers. Now, I don't mean the shape round. I mean, well, you'll see what. So we have unlocked the problem here. During May 2008, the Mount Rushmore National Monument, South Dakota, welcomed 138,202. Okay, so just like I did yesterday, I like to underline numbers that I'm given in a problem. So we have 138,202 visitors. A website reported that about 100,000 people visited the park during that month. Was the estimate reasonable? Okay, so this one, they're tricky because this time they didn't give you two number forms. This one is in word form. They actually spelled it out, 100,000 people. Okay, so they're trying to throw us off here. All right, so then they want to know, was the estimate reasonable? I'm going to circle this. All right, you're probably thinking, what does that mean? Was the estimate reasonable? Don't worry, I'm about to tell you. An estimate, it's highlighted here, tells you about how many or about how much. It is close to the exact amount. Okay, so it means when we're getting an estimate, this might be a situation where I don't really know how much is there, but I think it's close to this number. You can round, it's highlighted for you in yellow, a number to find an estimate. So you're going to see in just a second what that looks like when you have a round number. Okay, I'm going to erase all this before scrolling down. One way we can use a number line to round a number to the nearest 100,000. So let's think about real quick, what does the number 100,000 look like? It looks like this. 100, comma 000. Okay, it's got 5 zeros. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we're going to find the 100,000s that it's between. Okay, so look here, the 1 is in blue. So what they want you to do is write that 1 followed by just zeros. 100,000 on this side. And then what would be on the other side? What comes after 1? 2. I'll erase part of my 0. So I'm going to put 200,000 on this side. Because if I had a number line in front of me, after 138,202, the next value of 100,000 would be 200,000. So as you can see on the number line here, right below that, that's what they've done. And then they're showing you where 138,202 would fall on the number line. So we have 100,000 here. Here's 150,000, that's right down the middle. And then 200,000 on the right side. So that's our largest number. And then here's our least. This is just middle. Okay. So just looking at this number line, which side is it closest to? Is it closer to 100,000 or 200,000? Well, one way I like to tell, I like to use my magic number 5. Okay, so right here in the middle, 150,000. I like to see, is the number on the left of that? This is left, this is right, or right. So if it's to the right of that, then it's closer to the largest value, 200,000, but it's not. It's on, it's on the left, right? So that's how I know. Oh, I did it again, I'm sorry. So because it's to the left of 150,000, that means it's actually closer to 100,000. It's closer to 100,000 than 200,000. So that means, so answering our first problem, 100,000 is a reasonable estimate for 138,000. So if you're thinking, what is going on right now, that's totally okay. I can tell you from teaching 4th grade last year that this was a very hard math lesson for them. Rounding was extremely difficult, so if you don't get it right away, don't feel bad. So I'm going to page 24. This is Mount Rushmore, by the way. We can also use place value, which to me is probably the faster way to round a number. Mount Rushmore is located 5,725 feet above sea level. So again, you want to circle your number. About how high is Mount Rushmore above sea level? Okay, meant to underline. I wanted you to circle the word about. So if you see the word about, that means you're going to be rounding something. So, and we need to round to the nearest 1,000 feet. So circle that too. So remember, this is what 1,000 looks like. There's 3 zeros. All right, so now we're going to round a number to the nearest 1,000. So we have to figure out first what thousands it's between. So we have 5 in the thousands place, so that means we're going to have 5,000 on one side. And then what's the next largest 1,000? Well, what comes after 5? 6. So 6,000. All right, now we're going to look at the digit and the place value position to the right. All right, so what's next to our 5? It's a 7. So we have to think the digit in the hundreds place is 7. By the way, 7 is larger than 5. Remember that magic number I was talking about? Well, you're going to see how that trick comes in handy. So that means 5,725 is closer to 6,000 than 5,000. How did we get that? Well, that magic number 5 I was talking about, if the number next to the place you're rounding is larger than 5, that means you're going to round up rather than down. So you see how we're going from 5,725 to 6,000? That means we rounded up. We made that 5 go up 1. So that's what I mean when I say round up. Now, if we're rounding down, that means we're going to keep that digit we're rounding the same and then just put zeros after it. But we're going to see an example of that in a moment. So we're going to the next page. So we're going to be on page 25, share and show. Okay, so suppose 255,113 people live in a city. So we're going to underline that. is it reasonable to say that about, there's that word about, 300,000 people live in the city? Use the number line to help you solve the problem. So when you see that word reasonable, it's just asking, did the problem round this number correctly? So on our number line, we have 200,000 on the far left, so this is the smaller number. Okay, and then we have 300,000 on the other end. This is the greatest number. And then here we have 250,000 right here in the middle. Okay, so our number is 255,113. So we need to figure out, where is that going to be on the number line? Well, I can tell you right now, these little tick marks, let's see how many there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it takes 10 tick marks to get to 300,000. So that means these are divided in values of 10,000. Sorry for that bell. Okay, so I know that 255,113 is going to go after 250,000. So this tick mark right here, if I go 10,000 more, it's 260,000. So 255,113 is going to be right here, somewhere right there. That's me estimating, actually, because I don't know exactly where. So even besides doing all of this, you already know that this number is greater than the middle number. So you already know, okay, that actually is a reasonable estimate, right? Because it's greater than the middle number. So it actually is reasonable. So again, thinking of that magic number 5, if the number next to the place value you're rounding is 5 or greater, you're going to round up. Okay, so a little practice with rounding. Let's look at number 2, this guy. 934,567. So the number that's underlined is 4. Okay, so I'm rounding the thousands place. So now I'm going to look at the neighbor number. So the number next to it, it's a 5. So again, lucky number 5. When it's 5 or greater, you're going to do this. Okay, so this is something that a lot of kids miss. They want to change the numbers that come before the rounded number. Don't do that. Don't ever do that. Leave those numbers alone. 9 and 3 will stay the same. The 4 will change. Why? Because there's a 5 in the hundreds place. So we're going to round up. That 4 is going to become a 5. Okay? And then it's zeros after that. So once you get past the number you're rounding, they don't stay the same. You replace those with zeros. So when I say rounded number, I should see zeros. I should not see anything but zeros after the place you're rounding. Okay? If there's not enough zeros, you probably did it wrong. Okay, I'm going to show you one more time. Gotta wait for the bell to stop. Okay, I'm gonna skip to number 4. So this one's nice and easy because the place you're rounding is also the greatest. So we have a 2 there. Okay. So again, look at your neighbor. What comes after the rounded number? It's a 3. Okay, so that immediately tells me I'm not rounding up, I'm rounding down, but you're not rounding to anything less than the number you're rounding, okay? So what I mean by that is that 2 is not going to become a 1, it's just going to stay a 2. Now, what did I just say? Anything after the place you're rounding is zeros. Okay, so it's just gonna be 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Some kids like to do something like this. Like they might do this, you know, but don't do that. So the number that is underlined, everything after that, you're just gonna turn it to zeros. Okay? I'm not gonna do any of these word problems. Okay, now just because I know this is a really hard concept for fourth graders, I'm just gonna do one more. I'm gonna do number 5. Okay, so again, the number that's underlined is a 4. It's right here. So remember what I said, any number that comes before that rounded place stays the same. Okay, so that 3 is going to stay the same. Now, we're going to look at the number next to our 4. It's a 7. 7 is less than or greater than 5? Well, it's greater than 5. So that means the 4 is going to go up to 5. Okay? Now that we've rounded our 4 up, everything else is going to become a 0. 350,000. Nice round number, lots of zeros. Okay? Now, guys, I made a really good anchor chart for my class last year. I will gladly take a picture of that and I will attach it to your lesson to help you. So you can look at that whenever you want to. It's a good little cheat sheet. I think I came up with a rhyme or something that's easy to remember. So I'll make sure to share that with you to help you. And again, if you don't get this right away, that's totally fine. If you need help, please don't hesitate to hop on our Google Meet that begins at 9:45. So I will be glad to help you, or you can just send me a message. That is all for today.